You ever been to a rodeo? I mean a real one. Not the kind they show on the TV with bright lights and sponsors plastered on every square inch of a fella's shirt. I'm talking about the kind where the dust hangs low in the evening air, where the smell of sweat and leather mixes with fried dough and horse manure, and where the whole town shows up because there ain't no thing better to do on a Saturday night. Well, pull that blanket up closer, friend. Fire's burning steady, and the coyotes are singing somewhere out yonder beyond the cottonwoods. I'll tell you a story about a ranch hand turned, Rodeo King. It's a story of Jesse McCall, and I swear on every blister I've ever earned, I watched it unfold with these very eyes. The first time I saw Jesse, he wasn't a nothing special. He was just another ranch hand out at the Double H spread, about 15 miles east of town. Skinny but wiry, sunburned neck, boots 2 sizes too big, because they were hand-me-downs from his older brother who'd run off to join the oil fields in West Texas. Jesse didn't talk much, kept his hat low and his eyes steady, but that boy worked. He'd rise before the sky turned from black to gray. You ever wake up before dawn on a ranch? It ain't quite like folks think. There's the low rumble of cattle shifting, the creak of windmill blades, the rustle of dry grass whispering in the dark, and always that smell, dust and hay and cold iron. That was Jesse's world. He mended fences that had been sagging for years. He hauled water troughs. He'd move slow and careful around nervous heifers like he was trying not to spook the wind itself. Now, the Double H had a bull. Every ranch has one that gives you trouble. But this one was trouble born and raised. His name was Diablo, black as a thunderhead, shoulders like a freight train, eyes that didn't look at you so much as through you. That bull didn't trust fences, didn't trust horses, and sure as sin didn't trust people. Old man Harper, owner of the Double H, kept saying, "That bull's gonna break somebody one day." We all believed him. One late summer afternoon, heat sitting heavy as a wet saddle blanket, we were driven a small herd from the north pasture toward the main corral. Flies were thick, horses restless, cattle pushing tight together, and somehow, Lord knows how, Jesse found himself standing between Diablo and the rest of the herd. Now, a bull don't like being separated, and Diablo especially didn't. He snorted once. "Paw the dirt." That low rumbling growl came out of him like thunder rolling across dry land. I saw Jesse freeze just for a heartbeat. Then that bull charged him like he'd just stolen the last slice of pizza out of the box. Mean and personnel. Dust exploded under Diablo's hoofs. The ground shook. Horses reared back. I remember yelling Jesse's name, but the wind swallowed it. Diablo closed the distance in seconds, and just when it looked like that boy was about to get flattened into a memory, Jesse jumped. Not sideways, not back up. He leapt clean off the ground, grabbed a fistful of loose hide, and landed squared on Diablo's back like he'd been born there. The world went still. That bull exploded. He twisted, bucked, kicked, spun in a blur of muscle and rage. But Jesse stayed on him like a tick on a dog. One hand gripped tight, the other flung wide for balance. His hat flew clean off, hair whipping in the hot wind. Diablo bucked so hard his back hooves nearly touched the sky, but Jesse didn't let go. He moved with the bull instead of against him, leaned when Diablo twisted, shifted when he lunged. They weren't luck, they weren't panic, it was instinct. After what felt like forever, though, I reckon it was maybe 10, 12 seconds, Diablo gave one last violent leap, then slowed, and that's when Jesse slid off, clean as you please, landed on his boots, stood there breathing hard. Diablo trotted off. Confused more than angry, no one spoke for a moment. Then old man Harper muttered, "Well, I'll be damned." That was the day everything changed. Word travels fast in a small town. By sundown, half the county had heard about the ranch hand who rode Diablo bareback and walked away smiling. At first, Jesse didn't make much of it. Said it was just survival. Said he didn't even think. But you don't accidentally ride a bull like that the next weekend. Someone from town invited him to try his hand at the local rodeo. Just for fun, they said. Jesse hesitated. He'd never set foot inside a rodeo arena as anything but a spectator leaning on the fence. But I remember what he told me that night. Sitting by the bunkhouse, he said, when I was up there. It felt right, like I'd been waiting for it. And that, friends, is how legends begin. The first rodeo Jesse entered was small. Real small, wooded bleachers, half full. Kids chasing each other with cotton candy. Announcer with a crackling microphone that squealed more than it spoke. The sun was setting, painting the sky orange and purple behind the grandstands. Dust hung golden in the air. Jesse drew a bull named Hammerhead, mean, fast, known for twisting. Left then jerking right with no warning. I stood by the chute that night. Jesse climbed on like he'd done it 100 times before. His jaw was tight, but his eyes were calm. You could see the focus settling over him like armor. Gate swung open. Hammerhead burst out, spinning hard. Crowd roared. The sound hit you in the chest. Jesse leaned forward just enough. Matched the rhythm. 8 seconds is a lifetime when you're riding 1,000 pounds of muscle and fury. But when that buzzer sounded, Jesse was still there. And the crowd? They lost their minds. From that night on, he wasn't just Jesse the ranch hand. He was Jesse McCall, cowboy. He entered every small rodeo within 100 miles. County fairs, charity events, dusty arenas where the prize money barely covered gas, and he won over and over. It got to where bulls seemed nervous when his name was called. I ain't joking. They'd stomp and snort like they knew what was coming. There was one bull, big iron, meanest thing on 4 legs in 3 states. Threw every rider in under 3 seconds for 2 straight years. Promoter thought Big Iron would humble Jesse. Instead, Jesse made him look like a carousel pony. Big Iron twisted, leapt, tried every dirty trick in the book. But Jesse stuck like he'd been bolted on when the buzzer hit. Even the bullfighters just stood there for a second, hands on hips, like they weren't sure they were needed anymore. That's when the papers started taking notice. Small town. Article turned into statewide coverage. Sponsors came calling. Boots polished. Shirt pressed. His name stitched across his back. He went pro. Started ridden in big arenas, under bright lights, where the roar of the crowd sounded like a storm. I went to see him once in one of them massive stadiums. Thousands of people. Music blaring. Smoke machines puffing. But when that gate opened, it was just Jesse and the bull. Always just those two. He rode like he was dancing with danger. Calm where others panicked. Balanced where others tensed. It was like he could hear the bull thinking an answer before the thought finished. Year after year, he climbed the ranks, won titles, won buckles so big they shined like mirrors, won respect and fear. I remember overhearing a stock contractor once say, "That boy ain't riding bulls. He's teaching them manners." That's how good he was. But glory has a cost. Bruised ribs, dislocated shoulders, concussions he never talked about, nights where he lay flat on his back staring at motel ceilings while ice packs melted against swollen joints. Still, he rode because for Jesse, it wasn't fame. It was that feeling, the same one he felt the first time on Diablo's back. It felt right. Every cowboy knows the clock's ticking. You can't ride forever. Sooner or later, bones complain louder than pride. Jesse hit his mid-30s still on top, still winning, still making bulls look unsure of themselves. Then came the ride folks still talk about, national finals, packed arena, cameras everywhere, bright lights so strong they turned night into day. He drew a bull called Widowmaker, undefeated that season. Mean as a cornered rattlesnake, you could feel tension humming through the stands. I watched from home that night. Hands clenched so tight my knuckles hurt. Gate swung open. Widowmaker came out like a cannon shot. Hard left. Sudden drop. Spin so tight it made your head swim. Jesse matched him. Second 4. Bull changed rhythm. Jesse adjusted. 7 seconds. Widowmaker launched straight up, then dropped hard and twisted midair. That's a move that had thrown every other rider. But Jesse stayed. Buzzer screamed. He slid off clean. Crowd erupted like the earth itself had split open. That ride sealed it. Another championship. Another buckle. But that night, instead of celebrating loud and long, Jesse sat quiet in the locker room. Later he told me, I don't want to wait till a bull decides for me. And just like that, he retired. No dramatic injury. No bitter end. Just a cowboy deciding he'd had his dance and it was time to tip his hat. He came back to town, bought a small spread not far from where it all began these days. He helps young riders learn the ropes, teaches them balance, teaches them respect. And sometimes, when the sun sets red over the pasture, he'll stand by the fence watching a bull paw the dirt, and I swear for just a second, you can see that spark in his eyes. Not hunger, not pride, just gratitude, because he got to live his legend and walk away on his own 2 boots. So if you ever find yourself at a rodeo, and you see a young rider sticking to a bull like he was born there, you might just be watching the next Jesse McCall. Now toss another log on that fire, friend. Night's settling in deep, and I reckon that's enough for one evening.